Denny's or a Shoney's or a Waffle House or just one of those places when you can order anything. It's like a general store. Churches that do well do only a few things and do them very well. They're not trying to be a mile wide and an inch deep. They're trying to be an inch wide and a mile deep. They want everyone to know without them having to announce it. This is what our deliverables are. What's the third question? So the question is, so what's my delivery system? Once I know this is my product, how do I get the product out to you? What's my delivery system? All right. So this morning, I left my home about 4 o'clock, went to the airport. Everyone's going to go through security. No man cometh unto the airplane except through TSA. I tell you what, you ought to travel with me sometime. Just look at me, just look at me, just look at me. All I need is a towel on my head. It is interesting. Yeah. I used to go to the doctor for a physical exam. Well, I go to the doctor when you're going to go to the airport. They take my x-ray. They feel me up. And they say, you're good. Why do I have to go through? So, deliverable. So I have to go through TSA. Now in Atlanta, I've got 3 options. I can go through the regular. I can go through the pre-check, where you don't have to take anything out. Or I can go through what I have, at least in some airports in America, they have what's called clear. So I walk up to this kiosk this morning. I walked up to this kiosk, put my phone on it, put my 2 fingers on a little pad, and I was cleared, and I cut in front of the pre-check people. I pay $89 a year for that service. That's the best $89 I ever spent. Now, the product is security, safety. But there are different delivery systems. Are you following me? So what is the delivery system? So you say, well, we want people to be disciples of Jesus. I'm all over that. I get that. I agree with that. No, I have no problem with that. Yeah, I get that. So what's your delivery system? By osmosis? By laying on of hands? Just because they fall down doesn't mean they're disciples. It simply means they fell down. And if you didn't have catchers, they'll never fall down again. That's my theory. I've been in Pentecostal churches all my life. My theory is no catchers. If God is going to do it to them, let him do it. You want to bust your head wide open? Praise the Lord. We do funerals here. What is your delivery system? You say, well, we are about youth. Okay, get that. What's your delivery system? Because when I go into a church, your greatest theological document is your budget. Because your budget tells me what you really believe. That's it. Your budget will tell me what you really believe. If you say we are about youth and your youth budget is close to 0, you don't believe that. You just say that. If it is outreach, show me a budget. Your budget is the biggest theological document in your church. Delivery system. How do you deliver what you deliver? What is your product? And finally, what's the 4th question? Who are my drivers? Who are my drivers? That means who's going to make it happen for you? You can do it all. You can delegate it all. So who's going to make it happen for you? Who is going to do it? I didn't say who all. I said who. Anytime you give responsibility to a group of people, when it's everybody's business, it becomes nobody's business. You've got to know one person. If it doesn't work out, you need to know who you're going to kill. Who are your drivers? Who actually make it happen? Because if you can think of those 4 things, I can guarantee you will enterprise. Because those are the 4 things most people never think about consciously. So let me give you 3 more words. And then we'll do some question and answers, and then I'm going to sell you some books, and then I'm going to conclude at the end. You know how I sell books? I learned that from Billy Graham. The way he gives altar calls. Used to. About 5 minutes into his message, he says, in a little bit, thousands of you are going to come to these altars. He'll preach a little bit more than say, thousands of you are going to come to these altars. That's what I'm doing. Thousands of you. So, here are the 3 words. Choices, chances, changes. Choices, chances, changes. Choices, chances, changes. Everyone together. Let's talk about those. All of you are going to make choices. You can come to this great conference, and a choice could be, I ain't changing nothing. Some of you are saying, I'm going to change everything. I don't think either one of those extremes is good. If you want to keep your job, don't change everything. Next thing you know, you'll have a U-Haul. To make a choice is a choice. To delay a choice is a choice. To defer a choice is a choice. To not make a choice is a choice. You're going to make thousands of choices, consciously or unconsciously, all day today. You're going to make choices. You are making choices right now as to what to do with enterprising. Because you see, you already know, but you're making choices right now. Because when you make choices, then you're going to have to take what? Chances. And chances are about taking risk. The biggest risk you're probably going to ever take in your life is not taking a risk. So when we all came to America, I came to America in 1973. Whenever you came to America or Canada, we did what? We took a risk. Yeah, we took chances. I landed at JFK Airport in August of 1973 with literally 87 cents in my pocket. I remember that because anybody, you've been to JFK, right? It's a big round place. So I landed on Air France. I had never left home. I was 20. I had never left home. I had never been on an airplane in my life. The first airplane I got on my life was from India to Atlanta. And so I came through Paris, landed in JFK, and I was supposed to catch a flight to Atlanta on Eastern Airlines. Anybody here old enough to remember Eastern Airlines? Before they went into erosion. Because they could not enterprise. Oh yeah, there's stories. Just think about anybody like that. So I landed in international section, had to walk over to the domestic section. I had my suitcase with me. I didn't need to bring all that junk with me, but I brought all those suitcases with me. And I'm trying to walk across, and the shuttle comes by, airport shuttle. And I got on the shuttle. In those days, they used to charge you $1 to take you where you needed to go. So the driver says, that'll be $1, sir. I go to my pockets, pull out all the change, 87 cents. So I said to him, this is what I got. As they do only in New York, he told me, get off my bus. Welcome to America. I was a janitor, breakfast cook, and dishwasher, plunging toilets and sweeping sidewalks for 4 years. But I never told my parents I was doing that. Because if my parents had found out that I was cleaning toilets, come back home, boy. You don't need to be doing that. You take chances. You are where you are in life because you took some. So why have you stopped now? Why are you playing it safe now? Why aren't you taking the risks that you've always taken? Because this is what I found. As soon as you get established, you stop taking chances. When you started your church with 20 folding chairs that did not work, they were duct taped together. When you started your church and the toilet would not work. When you started a church where the light bulb was always flickering. You took chances. Man, you took risks. You believed God. You went after it. You rallied the people. You say, yeah, we can do this. What happened to all that? Got established. Got settled. Don't want to take those risks anymore. And so your church grew exponentially because you took risks and took chances. But when you take chances, it takes you to word number 3, which is what? Changes. If you walk away from this conference and go home and don't make any changes, you wasted your time. You can have all the CEUs, and I think you're doing an exceptionally good job there. To do that, I mean, this is like a no-brainer now. You know what people are going to ask next? If I watch it online, can I get a CEU? Yeah, you should better get ready for that. That question is coming. It's like people saying, you know, I won't be able to be there with you personally, but I'll be there in the spirit. No, keep your spirit with your body. I mean, I don't know how many ghosts are sitting in these open chairs here. All the spirits. So if you leave from here, this is my last point. I'm going to open for question and answers. And I'll just do it different. Now, he is really deep, Pastor Sam. He takes 3 at a time. I'll take half at a time. I'll have to talk to him about that. Why do you do that? I know why he does that, because if he doesn't want to answer a question, he just kind of makes it up. And then, because by the time he answered the question, you forgot what you asked anyhow. So you checked out, you know. So everyone's checked out. Yeah, I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed how people spend money on air tickets, how they spend money on hotels, how they spend money on meals. They go to great conferences, they buy stuff and then do nothing with it. It's like you go to the grocery store and you buy bagfuls of groceries, bring it to your house and go into your kitchen and put it on the kitchen counter and walk away. And do nothing with it. I'm praying that somebody in here will have some courage on the inside to make some changes. There's some people in your churches that need to be released to their destiny. There's some things you know are dead. You just need to get off that horse. Give it a decent funeral. There's certain things you've been wanting to do. You're not getting any younger, are you? I'm at a place in my life in which I just don't care. Because I know I've lived longer than I'm going to live. My runway is running out. So it's like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's all right. As long as it's not sinful, unethical, immoral, I'm going to give it a shot. Why do I want to die a woulda, coulda, shoulda life? Life is too short for that. And I'm talking to a bunch of church leaders here today, and I'm saying to you, you already know what needs to change. May God give you the courage, the guts, the intestinal fortitude to make the changes. All right. So, if you have a question, if you'll stand up really quickly, I'll take 3 questions and that's it. Dr. Tola.
Praise God. Thank you, Dr. Chan. Now, what you said last is about change. And what do you do about a leader in your church who is always deferring to the old when you are trying to change? You know, you sit down, you set the new vision and say, oh, I understand, I get it. Then they do it for 2 or 3 weeks and they go back to the old. What do you do about such leaders?
So, my biggest challenge in life, because you're describing me too in saying that. And that's my struggle. That's all of our struggle. But in some certain circumstances, it becomes more magnified. So my struggle is not learning. My struggle is unlearning. Unlearning. And whenever I have found that I will keep reverting back to what I call my default position. I'm comfortable with that. I know that. I keep going back to that. Okay. Give an example from my life. I was born with a curse and a blessing. And they're different sides of the same coin. I am blessed that I can play any instrument. If I hear a song, I can play it. I can play the keyboard, I can play the accordion, I can play the guitar, I can play the banjo, I can play the bass guitar, I can play the drums, I can play the saxophone, I can play it all. I have all those at home. But I can never play any of them well. So that is my blessing is I can pick up any instrument and play it. There was this lady in our church, Pastor Tola, after a Sunday morning service, she came to me after, I was out there and she came to me and she said, hey, listen, my daughter, I bought a brand new saxophone for my daughter and my daughter just said she was interested, now she's not interested. Do you know somebody I can give this to? It was Sunday afternoon. I said, sure, give it to me. I'd never played a saxophone before, but I've always wanted to play jazz. So I said, yeah, give it to me. So she, next Sunday, brought me the saxophone, brand new saxophone. Next week, I figured it out. And I could put an accompaniment CD and play along with that. And 2 Sundays, I was pastoring the church at that time, 2 Sundays, I was playing in church. So my wife says to me, Brenda says to me, hey, you've always wanted to learn how to play jazz on the sax. Why don't you take lessons? So I found a saxophone tutor in St. Joe, Michigan. That's where I pastored in Michigan. And so the first week I went over there, all he wanted to do was teach me how to blow. That's all I did. I didn't have a saxophone. I just stood there. I went home. My wife said, what happened? Second week, he gave me a piece of the, what goes in your mouth, the reed? Mouthpiece? and taught me how to have an armature. Like, your lower lip has to go over your, that's all I did. No saxophone attached to it, just that. And then when the saxophone did get attached to it, Pastor told her I could never unlearn what I taught myself. Golf. I live on a golf course right now. Don't play golf because I can not unlearn. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. This is how I play. So whenever I have to make a shot, I'll go back to my default. Alvin Toffler said this, and I'm getting to your answer. Alvin Toffler said this: the illiterate of the future will not be those who can't read or write. The illiterate of the future will be those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. So there are two words, willpower and why power. Willpower and why power. Why power is stronger than willpower. Willpower lasts for 2 weeks, maybe 3. Why power can change everything. Imagine for a moment you drive up to your house. And it is on fire. I'm talking about flames are leaping out of it. And your pictures are burning up and you have money in there burning up, but you're not going in there because that's a cause for willpower. But you drive up to your house and the flames are going up and your baby's in the house. Now you move from willpower to what? Why power. Most leaders who have a default setting, keep going back, have a mental assent to the why, but don't really buy it over here. Once they buy it here, then they have why power. This is why we do things. This is why we are stopping this. This is why we are starting this. This is why we are changing this. So unless there's the why behind the what, and the why has to be compelling enough. But then I also know that not everyone can change. That was a hard lesson for me to come to. Not everyone can change. So if they will not change, I will change them. Can I say that again? If they will not change, I will change them. That simply means I'll find a way to say goodbye to them. Every problem you have is a person. Every solution you have is a person. And lack of change on there, because it's obvious you've done all the due diligence. You've done all the what, you've done all the why, you've done all the where and when. You've done it all. Okay. There are 4 levels of people. This will be the last question, by the way. There are 4 levels of people. 4 levels of people. Let me give you all 4 of them. Wanderers. When people wander, like wandering in the wilderness. Wanderers, followers, achievers, and leaders. Wanderers, followers, achievers, and what? Leaders. Okay, let me explain. And I'm going to define each one of them. So this is going to take 30 seconds on each one of them. Wanderers are people who will never see it. Everyone said never. They will never see it. They will still make it to heaven. Unfortunately, they are saved. Jesus still loves them, but they will never see it. They're simply what? I call them what? Wanderers. Number 2 is followers. These are people who will see it, but not pursue it on their own. They will see it, but not pursue it on their own. They will see a piece of chewing gum on the floor, but they'll see it but won't pick it up. You with me on that? Number 3 is achievers. Achievers will see it and pursue it on their own. They will see it and pursue it on their own. Most of us get all excited about achievers. Yeah. They saw the mess and they picked it up. They saw the toilet was overflowing and didn't have to call protocol. Got a mop, fixed it up. But then there's a 4th level.